Hey all, this is Stephanie with Energy Aligns, and this is my Tarot Insight for Thursday. Every Thursday, I pick one Tarot card that highlights and harnesses the energy of the collective. So everything is energy, our physical beings, our thoughts, our emotions, and there is an energetic tone to what's going on with all of us at the same time in the collective. You can tune into the energy of everything. And I use my psychic intuitive skills to do that every week through the tarot. So this week I pulled the Seven of Wind, and we have pulled this card before, and I don't know if you've been listening to my Tarot Insights, you know that we have had some repeats here. And you also know that we've been working with the similar numbers, 7s, 8s, 9s, and I think 110 was thrown in there. And the cool thing about this card, and also when we have repeating cards, is that they come to give us more information. They also tell us we're still processing through a cycle. And as a collective, 100% this card shows up to tell us that we are still in this cycle of learning to navigate our minds as a collective better. And then that translates down into our individual minds and how we move through our lives. So the Seven of Wind, 7 being that we're in the second half of the cycle. And what happens when we get to the 7 is we kind of have this little dip. It's like the 5, we get to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and our growth is kind of going up this incline. We get to a 5 and we kind of have this awareness that opens up and it shifts things into a different level. And so what happens in the 5s and 6, we're feeling around in this new awareness, and in the 7s we kind of dip down into this deepening, mysterious area where we're like, ooh, what's underneath this new awareness? And it's a little bit of kind of the shadowy side of our new awareness. And this card, the 7 of Wind. Wind is all about the mind. We're kind of in the dark side of this cycle of awareness. The last card I pulled in the Tarot Insight, we had this realization that we all have access to everything, and this big awareness is opening up for us as a collective. So in the 7s of Wind, we're saying, okay, this awareness has opened up and there's a little bit confusion. And so guess what's happening is all of the elements, all of the ways we have thought and everything that we have been going along with are like, oh, you're not gonna go along with this anymore? So, there's a lot of confusion, and you just look at this card down here and it just shows a lot of confusion. It's called confusion energy, and that energy, I 100% have felt it in the last week in my personal life, in my personal being, where I personally feel confused. And some of you might have felt the same way. And that is the energy of the times. It is very confusing and very overwhelming. So it's time to look at what tactics are being used to distract and confuse us. There are a lot of thoughts and a lot of beliefs out there, but there really is only one truth. So, for example, the best place to look at right now for this kind of energy is the media. It usually shows up in the media, all of the information for our collective, because a lot of people are looking at that. And there's a lot of energy coming at us from the media. So very confusing, lots of different stories, lots of different things getting thrown at us it's more obvious than ever that there's a lot of control energy happening here. There are a lot of thoughts and a lot of beliefs out there. Of course there are. There's billions of people on this planet. But there really is only one truth. And that is really up for all of us to decide. And what is it? This is something we have to find for ourselves. And when we find it, or when we're even looking for it, we're focusing on it. Even when we're focusing, what is my truth? What is the truth? What is the truth of existence? What is the truth of humanity? What is the truth? And so that's what this card is saying. Hey, let's focus on what the truth is. Even if we don't know it, we're focusing on discovering it for ourselves. This truth is beyond and deeper than the mind. It is our spiritual truth. So our mind is very good at distracting us from focusing on the spiritual truth. And the reason why it's so good at distracting us is because we've allowed it. And there's nothing wrong with the mind. We've allowed the mind to keep distracting us. So the tactics being used are of the mind. They're really not of the heart. They're not of the spirit. They're of the mind. What in these times do we hold sacred, and what do we believe? Staying focused is key here in these times. And how do we do that? We try as much as we can not to allow for too much distraction. I mean, there is distraction everywhere. Look, one thing that we can do as individuals during these times is to take a break from the media. Take a little break from the media. If you are listening, watching the media from sun up to sundown, 100% you will be getting confused and distracted. And you will be down here instead of focusing on what the truth of these times really is. So as a collective, this card is telling us, hey, our awareness is opened up and let's take a look. What's happening? So if our awareness is opening up and there's this access point that we have, that we've always had, that we're now seeing and we're becoming so aware of it as a collective, here's all these snakes in the grass, like I've talked about the last time we pulled this card, are coming in to say, hey, look over here, listen to this, believe this, do that. And that's all fine and good, because some of these beliefs and some of these ways of being are coming from a place of real strong energy. And it doesn't mean that they're wrong. It doesn't mean that they're right for you. And it doesn't mean that there's just one way for the collective to be. And so when we start to ask what our essential truth is, we start to shift the focus away from all of this stuff, all of the distraction. As an individual, what we're going to start asking ourselves, how we harness the energy of this card, the Seven of Wind, is underneath it all, we ask ourselves, what do we believe in? We ask ourselves, what is my truth? And we take time out to contemplate that. And one way we can do that in our daily lives without sitting down for a meditative practice for an hour a day is notice when we are getting triggered by something. Notice, which is all the time, all over the place right now, because the collective energy is so triggering, so strong. But in our daily lives, let's notice when we are getting triggered as individuals. And then you start to ask, what is this? Why am I getting triggered? And how do I feel about it? And is this my truth? Is the mental response that comes up when I get triggered really what I believe in? And so it's starting to ask these deeper questions of ourselves. I 100% believe in the power of meditation. And obviously, I believe that the energetics of these times are wild. And so it's very important for us to take a break, and I've said this over and over again, for 1 minute to 5 minutes a day to find quiet time. I am wishing all of you so much love right now and deep awareness. I've spent the last week, like I said, in a lot of confusion, and I understand when I pull these cards, I can look at the collective energy and I can give myself a little bit of a break for having the overwhelming feelings I'm having. It's not bypassing the feelings I'm having, but knowing that there's more going on out there than that's affecting me as an individual is really important to me, and how I can take steps to find more ease and grace in my life, knowing that we are part of something way bigger than just ourselves. Please, please, please reach out if you need any support, in meditation and tuning into something deeper, into quieting down, I have free meditations on my website, and I'm offering them up because of these times, because it is tough and we do need a little bit of support and help. So lean on people and things when you can and where you can. And I'll see you next Thursday. Thanks.